Hello, my name is Voya, and in today's video we are checking out the Boox Go 6. Well, they are saying that it's a Go series, but my suspicion is this is going to be a Poke 6, right? So let's check it out and see what Boox Go 6 brings to the table. But before we do, two things. First, disclosure, this device has been kindly sent to me from Boox, but I don't get to keep the device. I just do the review and then I send it back to them or to another reviewer or school or something like that. That's usually what happens. And that way I maintain my independence and integrity. And the second thing is that if you do value the work that I do and the independence of mydeepguide, then I invite you to go to mydeepguide.com/shop to check out MDO and MMP, both of which are hyperlinked PDF products. And in case of MDO, My Daily Organizer, it helps you organize all of your yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, professional or personal organizing needs. And MMP is My Deep Guide Meeting Planner, which helps you centralize, simplify, and organize all of your meeting planning needs. If any of that sounds interesting to you, then check out the hyperlinked playlists in the description below, where you can find way more information about all of these products, and purchasing of any of these products directly helps support the independence of My Deep Guide, for which I am deeply thankful. And now onwards with the Boox Go 6. And here is the contents of the package that I received. I received the cover for the Go 6 and the device itself. So first, the overview of the device. So Boox Go 6, obviously it's a 6-inch e-reader. This time it's using the all-new HD Carta 1300 screen, which seems to deliver really nice image quality. So we'll see how that translates on this smaller format. With the 300 ppi density resolution, it has a dual color controlled front light, touch capacitive. This is not a notebook device, so this is just an e-reader. And this one is actually packed with really nice specs because it's an octa-core CPU, 2 GB of RAM with 32 GB of storage that's expandable via the micro SD card slot, with a good battery with 1500 milliamp capacity, and of course wireless connectivity, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Android 12 out of the box. So let's open it up and see what it's like. I'm really curious. Ta-da! So here's the little dude. It's cool to see the small format back, and it seems to have retained the Poke format. So let's see. So you get the device, USB-C to A cable, micro SD card slot tool, and supporting documentation. So uber standard packaging, basically everything you need. So let's focus on the main thing. All right, so let's get it out of the protective pouch and see what do we get. And it's the same thing. This is virtually the same housing that we've seen in the format that we've seen with the Poke throughout years now. 4 or 5 years, 4 years I think at the very least. Maybe some innovation or some change could be done. Of course there's some changes, you know, in the design on the back, but essentially this is pretty much the same thing. Then again, this is a format that I really like, and that really works for me as a whole thing, especially, you know, in the landscape format. Having this slightly wider edge is a really cool thing. So yeah, maybe there's no need to change for just change sake, but yeah, it's worth acknowledging that this is basically the traditional Poke design. Why it's called Go instead of Poke, whatever number it would be, I guess 6 now, I really don't know. I don't understand. So what makes this basically stand out from the Poke series to warrant the name Go? I don't really see it. The display looks really crisp and bright and nice, even though it's turned off, so that's really cool to see the whiteness of the display. The reflectivity of the screen is quite good. This looks like true AG glass, which is a nice thing to see. On the bottom we have the micro SD card slot, USB-C, nothing on either of the sides, and on the top we have the power button with the LED indication. The build quality seems to be really nice, because as soon as I touch it, it's just all smooth and all, you know, business as usual, so nothing is sticking out or feeling bad. The back is this really lovely, kind of lovely feeling plastic surface, which when we have here the Boox logo and a line going across the horizontal of the back. The device is really feels very light and super portable. It's extremely easy to kind of use it in one hand, and the weight balance is actually really good, because regardless of how I orient it, there's no single tipping side or anything like that. So overall, yeah, I'm a fan of the poke design, and this is basically it. Okay, let's do the first power up and just kind of see what we get. And I'm just gonna go very quickly over a couple of things. I'm gonna load up some test documents, and then we're just gonna see how the image quality is and how the performance is. And yeah, basically that's gonna be it for the unboxing and first impressions, because I'm gonna then be able to start using the device to perform all of the tests that I normally do, most importantly the battery test and how the front light behaves and all of that kind of stuff, and just spend time with the device to see basically how it acts. Alright, so far the process is really straightforward and easy. I was able to, you know, without any problems, hook up to Wi-Fi, check all the things that I need to. I have full signal, which is expected. I was able to normally hook it up to the PC and transfer the set of test documents that I normally use. Things that I've noticed so far, the only thing that I've done is I disabled the navigation ball, and that's pretty much it. I would normally mute the notifications and turn the do not disturb option on. And of course you have the color of the front light and intensity of the front light, not something that you can see here in these highly lit conditions, but this is something that I will do in the in-depth review when we get to it. Two things that I've noticed that I think are one thing is missing, which is kind of strange. They would still don't have auto rotation on this small device. I really don't get it. It's not such a big battery consumer, and this is kind of a small thing, so to implement, so there's room in there. So I don't get it. Why don't we still have that simple, you know, act of convenience for users? But it's still not there. And another thing that's interesting to see is that it's coming with the Boox OS 3.5.4 version, and the AI assistant that Boox introduced is now available on the small devices as well. So this one comes out of the box with the Boox AI assistant as well. Offline OCR recognition in PDFs. And so by default, this would not be normally readable or usable, this kind of document on a device like this. However, this being a Boox platform and the default e-reader being NeoReader, that means that we don't have any problems adjusting the formatting to quickly basically just be able to use it. So you can use fit screen, but my preference for this would be fit width. And then suddenly, yeah, a document that was completely unusable on a small device like this becomes really easily readable and usable. So the image quality seems to be quite good. I really like the sharpness. I mean, this looks very nice and sharp. Let me make sure that the front light is turned off. There we go. It shouldn't make any difference, but there we go. So the setting that I'm going to do is, because if I'm going here and back, I'm going to have some ghosting. And that's not something that I like as a default setting in the NeoReader. So there are a couple of things that I'm going to adjust initially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, and first it's going to be the refresh settings. So in the refresh settings, I'm going to switch to Regal. I'm gonna do a full refresh on every action. I'm gonna make sure that the full refresh mode is the depth refresh mode. This is going to ensure that I'm going to have the best possible quality of the image that the device actually can do. But what of course you can do is you can change it to speed if you prefer speed. So we will test that as well and show how that works. However, once I've changed this, now you'll see that every refresh is a full depth refresh, and we have absolutely zero ghosting happening. Yes, the speed is going to be slower, but if you favor the quality over speed, then this is the type of settings that you would need to do. As you can see, no ghosting happening at any point in time. So let's see what's it like if I switch it to speed refresh mode, and then we see here. So this is speed refresh mode, but also doing all of these things, and that doesn't really make too much sense to use it that way. So if you're going to use a speed refresh mode, then what you're going to do is probably going to go back to normal, and you may want to disable the full refresh rate, because then that gives you this other side of a Boox platform and a device like this that's really performing well. I'm quite impressed with the sharpness and the crispness of the image and the contrast quality, because that's the new image, the new panels here. So another thing that I like to do is the default settings are really aggressive. So I like to lower that and then just get even nicer type of an image quality. So right now I'm just gonna go back to the best image quality. That's something that I prefer, like this. And yeah, and this is really beautiful to see. One final thing that I'm gonna also do is I'm gonna go to contrast and turn image smoothing on. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that the boldening and all of that kind of stuff is off, because it sometimes has really strange and aggressive default settings, but this seems to be all good. I'm gonna enable pinch to zoom so we can test that out a bit later. So actually we can test it out now. So even in this refresh mode, when you enter the dynamic action, such as this one, for example, it turns the device into a faster refresh mode, so that you have much more reactivity of the device, and then when you release, then it refreshes and gives you the best image quality, or the image quality that you've set it up to use. Another thing that you can also keep in mind is that despite this being just a 6-inch device, you can use the rotation here. So let's say, for example, I want to use it like this, and then I switch it to horizontal rotation, and I make sure that we are in 5th width, and then you can see that this super tiny document becomes extremely easy to use and actually properly use and read, despite seeming limitations of the 6-inch device. So combination of all of the functionalities that you actually have on this device makes it incredibly versatile, and that is the power of the Neo Reader, and why yeah, I love the 6-inch format here. It's just so versatile and so powerful in such a small format, and I'm happy to see that it's kind of maintained on this Go 6 as well, even though it should be like Poke 6, but fine. The only thing that I really don't get it is, like, why don't we have auto rotation? It just doesn't make any sense not to have it. But just to kind of get back to the original size and the original document, like, I'm just gonna reset now and just show you what it is that we started from, right? So this is the document that is in its native form, and we've been able to actually use it in so many different ways and make it so usable on this tiny little device. All right, so now let's get on to the other document, which is basically picture content rich document, and see how the image quality is. Right, and I'm retaining all of the settings, but I'm just gonna do some more settings here to just get it a bit better and much nicer, because there's always default settings. So I don't like having the reading bar, and in PDF settings, that's the optimized view for scrolling, right, and zooming. Fit width, show document boundaries, I don't want that. Nope, page break lines, I don't care about that. That's pretty much it. So this should give me the cleanest look, and it does. So the final thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to fit to screen, and then I have everything set up the way I want it to, right? So just remember that I'm using refresh mode here. If he kept it, and he did, yes. Regal mode, full refresh rate on every action, and full refresh mode is depth, right? So I'm getting to have the best possible image quality to see what the device is capable of. And finally, in contrast as well, I have image smoothing turned on, and my app configuration is, yeah, this, because the default is a little bit too aggressive. Some people may like that because it's like, ooh, it pops the contrast quite a bit high, but in images like this, for example, then it's a bit too much, and then you lose some details, whereas when you actually leave it like this to have a bigger range, it just looks a bit better. I am staggered with the quality of the display, because this text is ridiculously tiny, yet it is readable and something that you can actually use. With this type of settings, you won't have any ghosting, you won't have any color banding. It's just a beautiful, beautiful image quality here, and it's capable of, I mean, look at this. I love what the HD Carta 1300 displays are capable of. They're just so nice, so much crisper and nicer. It's very, very cool to see. Oh, this is also really beautiful. All right, so this is pretty cool to see that this little dude can perform this way. Okay, so now let's switch it into a speed mode. Full refresh never, and normal, right? So now we're going the other way around and see, like, okay, we're favoring performance over image quality and ghosting. So we get a bit of a degradation in resolution and a bit of a degradation in ghosting, and then of course you will start to see quite a bit of ghosting in these extreme types of situations, because this is hard, right? So you're really forcing the device to do some heavy workloads here, but the performance, I think, is really, really good as well. But of course this ghosting is going to be a trade-off if you're going for speed. So this is why for reading, for me, this type of situation really makes sense to use the best image quality, because then you just have a beautiful, beautiful type of experience. I mean, this really starts looking like photographs. I mean, properly like photos. So let's turn on the front light all the way up and see what that does. Okay, so now it's illuminating the content. So this is fully cold and this is fully warm, and it looks in this super high lit conditions in the light box, but the it looks like that the front light is actually really nicely calibrated, and that the intensity is not going to like ridiculous intensity levels that you will never need. So that's a nice thing to see as well, because that means that you're going to have a bigger range, bigger usable range of controls for the front light. So overall, I'm really, really impressed with just how it works. So it's a really cool thing to see that the Poke series, or in this case it's now called Go series, is going strong. I was afraid that they may kind of skip updating the 6-inch format, but they didn't, and that makes me very, very happy to see. The only other thing that I would have loved to have seen is that because it's Go, I mean, why isn't it gray? Okay, fine, you have black, but shouldn't it be the same type of gray to match the screen? That would have been so much nicer as well. And I think that it would have looked very, very elegant. Because imagine if it didn't have this black border and it actually matched the color of the screen, that would be so cool. So I think this is a missed opportunity, something that they easily could have done, but they just didn't. Other than that, because this is an Android 12, this should come with the Google Play Store, and of course it does, so you don't have to sideload anything. You can just log in with your Google account and use the Google Play Store, install Kindle, Kobo, Audible, anything that you want and that you like to run, it can be installed in. But on top of that, because it's equipped with recorder as well, or microphone, then you can have a recorder as well, so you can use it as a portable recorder if you want. And then you have all of these other options such as screen mirroring, you can take screenshots, we got the AI assistant, even screen recording as well, because now it's equipped with a proper SoC in there. So it's actually quite exciting to see that the 6-inch format has gotten so much crammed into it, making it maybe the most powerful and most versatile 6-inch reader that Boox has ever released. And I'm kind of struggling to find another competitor that would be like a 6-inch reader that can compete with the specifications and the amount of stuff that's actually contained in this little bundle here. And finally, let's take a look at the cover. Faux leather with Boox embossed here in the upper left corner. This is not a full-on black color. It's almost kind of grayish indigo kind of color, and I do like it. Inside we have this kind of tannish type of color, and it feels good in the touch. There's no sharp edges, no unpleasantness on the corners, which is sometimes the case. I mean, sometimes that can happen. For example, with the Remarkable Type Folio for the Remarkable 2, that was one of the things where the edges really didn't feel nice. I'm supposing that this is just a magnet that you place there and that's it. And once you're done, this is your, portable little reader that's protected, and then you open it up and it wakes up, you just do your thing, and if you just wanna read in bed, it's good. Snap it back into here. Whoa, wait, didn't snap correctly. That's not normal. That's not something that I expected. I expect that if I drop the device somewhere around here, that the magnetic configuration is such that it will force the device into the place. That does indeed happen. So if I push it here, now there's too much friction, but that means that it holds it ridiculously good. So that's kind of cool. But I do miss, so it does catch it. Sometimes it does catch it. Yeah. So if I aim, it will, there we go, it repositions. This is a pretty neat little bundle. Doesn't really add too much to the bulkiness and to the weight. It does add a little bit because, these are strong kind of panels in there, but that also offers enough protection here for a cover. So don't mistaken this to be a case, because it's not. This is just a flip book cover, and for that, I think it looks, feels, and performs very good. Okay, so that's Boox Go 6. Pretty much identical as Poke 5 as far as I remember, the design, front as well. So for me, the first impression is like, okay, the image, the stuff that matters is really good. The screen is really good and everything worked well. However, whenever I have like a small device like this, in order for it to actually become something that I get attached to, I need some type of personality that the device actually has, and just having like a black frame with your logo of the company, that just doesn't cut it for me. So that's one of the first impressions that I already have, is that I wish that the design was more personable and that it had some level of originality, because this is as bland as it can possibly get. But I still maintain, like, why don't we have the auto orientation? That is something that from a practical and realistic point of view is, yep, something that I think a device like this could need, because for those who don't want it, you just turn it off and then you have manual control, but it would be a point of convenience that I don't see a reason why it would be omitted. That's it from me, so I'm going to be testing this guy out and see what's what, so that I can bring you an in-depth review at some point in the future. I hope that you liked the video, and I hope that you found it informative and or interesting. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell in the description below to get notified when new videos come out on my deep guide. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!